Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, December the 31st. Hey, the weather's warming up a little bit for this New Year's weekend. We know some of you are going to get out there and fish on Saturday. We also know that some of you are going to get on those. We know that some of you are also going to get on those January 1st tournaments on these bodies of water out here. Waters. We know that some of you are going to enter some of these New Year's Day tournaments as well. And it looks like the water's clearing. Warm temperatures, a little bit easier for you to enjoy. The guys are here. They're going to tell us what to do, help us put a few more fish in the boat. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, December the 31st. Happy New Year as we break into 2023. We're once again joined by our Mercury Pro staffer, Tom Ott, to talk about Guntersville.
We are getting wet, Dano. I think we said something about getting some stable weather last week, and welcome to wintertime in Alabama. There's nothing stable about it. No rain to snow to plenty of rain. So I don't know if the fish even know what's going on out there, but things are a little tough. You can go out there and you can catch some fish, but you really got to search for them. I think right now, pouring you some jigs in the garage, maybe getting your tackle straight out, respooling, those kind of things. Just getting ready because it's coming. But on a serious note, I mean, there's fish to be caught, but it's just been really tough. The lake really cleared up well, but then we had a lot of ice, which made the boat ramps just extremely rough to try to get in and out of. And now we're getting all this rain, which is just, doing more of the same. They've been spilling for a good week now. And usually that would position the fish. It's just kind of scattered things out for me. The crappie bite's probably been the most consistent. You can still find the bass where, in the shallower bays, if you can break through the ice, which most of that's gone now, but it's been a tough week. Santa Claus wasn't good to us this year for catching fish. That's for sure.
Well, I know that you dropped that boat of yours with that Mercury on it, and you run up and down the lake. Stuff I'm seeing is in that 8 to 10 foot of water range, maybe a little bit of shallower, rattle traps, maybe some jerk baits, and I guess the Alabama rig's still going on. Is that what you're seeing?
Absolutely. And one thing about Guntersville is never be scared to get too shallow. It's a shallow lake anyway, but anywhere in that 3, 5, 6, 7 foot range, uh, don't be afraid to get up there where it's a little bit skinnier. Those fish are still getting up there to feed, but right now a rattle trap, you're starting to see a little bit if you're kind of dragging a jig. You can catch some fish that way. The A rig still probably the best way to put numbers in. If you get some good clear enough water, of course the jerk bait, single swim bait's really producing, but it's not to the standards that you'd expect Guntersville to be right now. It's just tough. The fish are there; they're just a little lethargic right now.
Well,
That water
folks,
temperature got down pretty cold.
that's our Mercury Pro staffer here at Bucks Island, Tom Ott, talking about Guntersville. Tom, thanks for everything, man. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, happy New Year! Tight lines out there. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, December the 31st. Happy New Year's from all of us at Bucks Island. We're going to check in right now with our firework, Lee Pitts, our Falcon Boats Mercury Pro staffer from right up there at Weiss Lake. What's going on at Weiss Lake these days, Lee?
Well, we're finally thawing out a little bit, so that's something real good. You know, able to get back out on the water and not break ice. But the fishing's been a little bit slow this week. They're still in the crappie end of it. We're graphing a lot of fish and showing them, but I think they really hadn't got over this the ice out that we had. So the fish are there. It's just been a little tough to catch. You just got to really put that Bobby Garland bait right in their face and just aggravate them enough till they'll finally either try to knock it out of the way or eat it one. So it's been a little bit slow, but things the water temperature is starting to climb back up a little bit. Um, this rain we got, we'll see. It may. I know the water's extra clear right now in some of these places here on Weiss, so maybe the little bit of stain may kick them back in.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a cold storm again. I think a warm storm would be better this time of the year to get the fish going. But how do you adjust to this? I know You drop that Falcon Mercury in the water, you might have to spin that prop and break a little ice, but there can be some fish to be had. What's the best way to cope?
Yeah, and then you said it right there. The fish are going to eat. It's just I think it's a timing deal. I think it's all through the day. It's kind of like when you're starting out with your bass fishing in the springtime. It may be that midday, late afternoon. So it's one of those things that just staying with it, not giving up, just trying to keep shuffling through your baits, find a color, find something that they will eat, something that they'll can get some of the active fish will get a hold of, and it's just covering that water, looking for the fish that want to eat something.
Yeah, Neely Henry with the current might help a little bit, but what are you hearing out of Neely Henry?
Neely, you get that little bit of current coming through there. It's going to stimulate them a little bit, especially if you can find some of the fish that want to come out and that have laid up suspended, and now they want to go get behind some of that cover or some of the little eddy spots, something on the downside of a hard point or something where they can lay there and not just fight that current all day. But I think they'll be more apt to hit something, a moving bait coming through. Shaky head's been real good. And still, that man, this time of year, it's hard to lay that jerkbait down. I mean, it's one of those deals. You may have to swap colors a little bit or change your cadence. Man, this time of year, I love to throw that jerkbait.
So do I, and it works. Lee, as always, man, we appreciate everything. Have a happy New Year to you and Miss Laura, and we'll talk to you again after the New Year.
All right, guys, Happy New Year.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, December the 31st. Hey, we're joined by Josh Herron, our good friend and Bass Cat Mercury Pro staffer. We're going to talk a little bit of Logan Martin and Lay Lake. Josh, what's happening on this New Year's weekend?
Well, Mother Nature's being all springy like she didn't try to kill us last week. So, man, get out there, soak it up, enjoy it. Fishing is probably going to be pretty damn tough. Oh, these surface temps have really, really hit down. It's going to be a lot more pleasant for you than the fish.
Yeah.
But, man, go enjoy the sunshine while we got it.
Is that sunshine going to bring the fish up into the shallows maybe in the afternoon? Granted, we're not going to want to be just blowing and going fishing really fast. Jerk baits, shaky heads, jigs, flat sides, I'm sure. But the afternoon going to be a little bit better than the morning possibly?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's these fish are going to be relating to anything that's warm right now. So that chunk rock's really going to play a deal. The red clay is going to start to really shine, especially at Logan. Anything that's going to hold this heat that we're getting through the day, we're getting in the day through the night, is what you really need to concentrate on right now.
Okay, favorite techniques, early morning, what are you going to look for?
Dude, I generally like to start my day cranking. It's something that really shines in the morning. Spotted bass generally never bite better in the day than they do at daylight. So I like to start my day throwing a little flat side bait. Possibly, I mean, you could throw something around that crawls like a jig or a shaky head, and then once that sun kind of breaks open, you can move over to like the spy baits, the jerk baits, stuff like that.
Are we going to be looking shallow water, middles of cuts? What are we going to be looking for?
Yeah, these fish are going to kind of start staging up in these ditches, and it sounds kind of dumb, but you're almost going to follow them out through the day. They're going to start and they're going to be on that little shallow rock and everything else. And as the sun kind of comes out, the bait fish will kind of funnel up in these little cuts and ditches and all. And these fish will kind of suspend up in that sun with them.
Well, Josh, as always, man, we appreciate everything. That's our Bass Cat Mercury Pro from down there in the Logan Martin Lay Lake area. Josh, we know you're getting ready for some shows and painting some of those cool Tato custom baits. Thanks for spending the time with us. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, December the 31st. Hey, it's New Year's, and we're going to catch up a little bit. Tomorrow's obviously New Year's Day. We know that a lot of you are going fishing on Saturday, and some of you may even enter some of those New Year's Day tournaments on your local lake. We tried to catch up with Gentry Gordy today, but the technology wasn't working quite right. Anyway, what we did was find out what Gentry had to say about fishing on Jordan Lake and Lake Martin. Here's what Gentry had to say. Jordan Lake, still going to be a colder situation right now. The water temperature's in that low to mid 50s. Yes, the air temperature is a little bit warmer, but the fish are still going to maintain that cold water where they were last week because it hasn't really warmed the water temperatures up that much. So what you're going to still see is you're going to see an Alabama rig bite. Spotted bass especially are going to get out there on that deeper, more offshore type stuff. Alabama rigs, maybe even a jig bite around some of that hard cover that you may see up the river, some of those rocks, offshore docks, some of those kind of things on the posts. Looking for that kind of stuff. When you do get an afternoon bite and the water temperature starts to warm up just a little bit, you're going to want to start to look for some of that dead grass, some of that stuff that's dying on the shoreline, the Coosa River grass, that water willow that they call it. Flipping something to the outside edges of that grass, and if the water's really stained, what you may find is that a shallow water, slow rolled, thumping spinnerbait in that stained water might be good. Something with maybe a little orange kicker blade. If it gets a little too dirty in that watercolor, then you'll get some largemouth bites out of that grass, some of that kind of stuff. Moving on to Lake Martin. Gentry said that he spent quite a bit of time over there over the last week. Water temperature has cooled. It's in that 52 to 53 degree range in the morning in the cold weather. Warms up a little bit now that it's getting warmer in the afternoons. But what he has found is that the fish are really biting a moving bait in the mornings. But then as the sun kind of comes up, they're looking at deeper rock piles, some back in the pockets, kind of out in the middle there on the rocks, but also a few on the main lake, outside edges. Rocks are key because it holds that water temperature. You're going to want to hit stuff on the bottom once that moving bait bite slows down a little bit. Stuff that's shaky heads with a 6-inch worm on there, green pumpkin colors. Texas rig Senkos fished really slow. Stick baits like that are going to produce bites around those rock piles. Better fish came in the pockets, but it still is something that you can produce a little bit all over the lake. Look for the water temperatures to rise in the morning and or in the afternoon, and that may trigger a few bites. Again, thanks for spending the time with us at Bucks Island. Have a great New Year's, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, December the 31st. Thanks to the guys for everything that they do every week to help us catch a few more fish. A little bit tough right now, but there's still fish to be had. Should be a little bit more enjoyable as the weather warms a little bit, even though the water might still be cool. Hey, don't forget, we're open Tuesday, January the 3rd, back to our normal winter schedules. We look forward to seeing you. Talk to you soon, and thanks for being the best part of Bucks Island.